Pinewood Builders thermal power plant was what stood at the Sakurajima volcano 5 years ago. It was forgotten and in a state of disrepair, and the power generation was at 1/10 of its optimal capability. A structural breach was all it took for the company to cut off all funding and give the decommission order. It took a furthermore of 3 months until a buyer was found. That buyer was Innovation Incorporated. Pinewood Builders thermal power plant was renamed Innovation Incorporated Thermal Power Plant. With their public image on the line, Innovation Incorporated was pressured to rebuild and revive the dying facility. Mr. Anime Rice Farmer, with 2 years of management and operations experience, was appointed as site director. Shortly after 3 months of renovations and reinvestment, the facility was open with sectors A, B, and C. The grand opening of the thermal power plant was first met with criticism. Media at the time reported the facility to be understaffed with the old thermal generators and reactor core still in place. 2 weeks after the plant was activated, the facility was already running at a loss. In a desperate attempt to prevent the plant from becoming its predecessor, Mr. Anime Rice Farmer was able to receive funding for a volcanic mining project. The volcanic mining project was able to rack in a considerable amount of funding and finances and was able to break even at one point. But, like all things in this cursed volcano, the project fell off, and eventually the facility ran at a loss for the second time. Until one day, a discovery of a new crystal-like object. It was then appropriately dubbed the magma crystal, and after intensive research into this crystal, it was found to generate high levels of thermal energy that could be utilized to be easily converted into electrical energy. This could not only act as a small power generator but large-scale thermal reactors and thermal generators that could even power large cities. With the realization of the tremendous amount of potential that this magma crystal can entail, it was rumored that the funding for the thermal plant quadrupled in a month. The boost in funding was mainly focused on the construction of a brand new addition to the facility, Sector D, Research and Development. This sector included numerous laboratories, corporate offices, a biodome area, and more. Did mention that it gets better? Shortly after successful development and testing, the old thermal generators and the facility reactor core were completely reinstalled with the inclusion of magma crystals to act as the power cores. This further drove the funding higher and higher, bring in more facility expansions, innovations and refurbishment. At the time of writing, this facility has never been more lively. But, will this finally be the break that is needed, or is this destined for doom just like its predecessor? I'm Julia Jones and giving you the history and backstory of this multinational company.